Hi guys, and welcome back to the Football Hideout. Now today we're going to be speaking about the Champions League, and I've got three experts with me, Richie, Taz and Shouny. Now the round of 16 is coming up, and I think there's only one place to start, and that's Liverpool versus Bayern Munich. Now with Liverpool not winning a single away game this season in the Champions League, and Van Dijk's out, Richie, is the first game the decider almost, can you say?
I wouldn't say it's a decider. As Thomas Tuchel said yesterday, I think over 180 minutes it'll probably be 50-50. I know that's a different game, but I understand where he's coming from in terms of Liverpool have home advantage first. You know, we know about the famous atmosphere at Anfield on European nights. You know, last season in the Champions League, that really pushed them through at times. You know, it was like such a cliche, but it was literally their 12th man. But it's going to be a really, really interesting game because Bayern Munich obviously didn't have the greatest starts in there. You could say they're sort of struggling in Bundesliga, but they've sort of recovered now. They've won 5 of their last 6 games in all competitions. They're 5 points behind Borussia Dortmund, and it seems like Niko Kovac is sort of finding his side. Is sort of finding the right balance in his side. You know, he's sort of found a midfield trio of Leon Goretzka, Thiago, and James. You know, sort of front three. It's really interesting the way they've sort of lined up in these last couple of games. They can either play 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3. And obviously with that, Liverpool have also altered their formation. So I think the midfield battle will be really, really interesting. And it'll be a great game because Liverpool's midfield is starting to come to life with Fabinho, Wijnaldum and Keita's coming into form now. So he obviously knows Bundesliga and stuff like that. So it'll be a really interesting game. I think that's where the game will be won or lost.
So Taz, Richie briefly spoke on Bayern Munich's poor Bundesliga form. Do you think that will come into effect against Liverpool, or do you think they're focused on the Champions League and they'll turn up as they usually do?
Well, every season Bayern Munich always there or thereabouts when it comes to the Champions League, always reaching latter stages. Especially in their team, they've got the mentality, the knowledge, the experience to progress and pass teams like Liverpool. And also, if you look at their players, Neuer, who's one of the best goalkeepers in the world, has got a lot of experience. Hummels in defence, and also Lewandowski to get the goals up front. All three experience, know how to win games, and I think in the tie against Liverpool that will count massively as well. But we also saw in the 2 games against PSG, Liverpool have defensive frailties as well, so I think that's something that they can exploit also going forward.
See, Richie, just how crucial is Van Dijk's absence in the first game?
Oh yeah, it's going to be really massive, you know, because I think at times Liverpool Klopp certainly has relied on too many players that have sort of let him down. You know, you can look back at Mignolet, Karius last season in Champions League. He trusted them, you know, he didn't go out and buy, but so I think Van Dijk's absence will be a huge miss because obviously Klopp relied on these players in the past and they let him down in Europa League finals, Champions League finals, and Van Dijk has really stood out as probably the best centre-back in the Premier League. So it'll be very difficult. And also Trent Alexander-Arnold is not 100%, so they let out Nathaniel Klein on loan. So they've got 2 really key positions that are certainly unstable and where Bayern can look to utilise, you know.
And with Liverpool being so focused, so much focus towards the Premier League, how much do you think this will affect them as well?
I don't think so. I don't think the Premier League is a completely different proposition now for Liverpool. You know, I think it's a game by game mentality where Liverpool need to take. You know, I know it's the Champions League. I know, not being a Liverpool fan, but you saw this on social media how much they enjoyed that Champions League run. You know, going away to Ukraine and stuff like that. I think Liverpool fans, if they can, they would love to go on a double, but for the Champions League and Premier League. But I think it's important to be realistic and say they could prioritise the Premier League because this is probably their best shot in so far they've ever had, and they're in a pretty commanding position. And yeah, I think there's certainly places where Liverpool can exploit. For example, the right back position and the centre backs. Bayern Munich's defence is quite leaky and slow, and Liverpool have obviously the pace with Firmino dropping off and Salah making those darting runs in behind. I think Hummels obviously not being the quickest. I think that's a point where Liverpool can exploit, and also it'll be interesting to see whether Kovac plays Kimmich or Rafinha at right back because Mane makes those darting runs inside and he's very, very difficult to deal with on his day, as that Liverpool front three is.
Alright, so I'm going to get the opinions from all 3 of you. Who's going through in this tie? Liverpool or Bayern Munich?
I think Bayern Munich.
Bayern Munich?
I think Bayern Munich as well. Yes.
Bayern Munich and Shouny?
I have to agree with the 2 of them, Bayern Munich as well.
Bayern Munich, so triple hat-trick, eh? Blimey. Alright, that's Liverpool and Bayern out the way. Now we're going to be speaking about a more interesting tie, a more tie that you can say is more predictable. Lyon versus Barcelona. Now, Shouny, Obviously, Barcelona have had a great start to the La Liga this season, and they've also had an impressive run in the Champions League. How do you think Barcelona will deal in this time?
I mean, I think they've been showing really good performance, a really good quality of play. They went through the group stage. I mean, they cruised through it. They got 4 wins, 2 draws. It was spectacular. And I think Lyon, although they went undefeated through the group stage, it was in a very more different way. They had 5 draws, and although that was okay up until now, I think they have to do better if they want to beat Barcelona, because they ended up conceding 11 goals, which I think is too much for this new team.
Of course, I agree. And Taz, obviously, you can class yourself almost as a Ligue 1 journalist. Lyon have also got a reputation of their home ground being a fortress. Now, they haven't won a single home game in the Champions League at home this season. What's happening here? Do you think they can use this against Barcelona or not?
The thing with Lyon, this season especially, when they do play the best teams in the world, Man City, PSG, they actually perform and actually beat them. When it comes to the other less teams, when they come against them, it's a lot more trickier. That I don't really understand. There's the players, the manager, the mentality of both involved. So having a home game revenge is, I'm not sure if it's vital for Lyon or Barcelona in terms of away goals, but it's going to be a tight game to call. But it's up to Lyon to perform in front of their own fans.
Of course, and Nabil Fekir is also suspended. Obviously, do you think that would be a major problem for Lyon? Or?
Yeah, especially he's their talisman. Everything goes through Fekir, whether that's set pieces, pattern of play. He's their captain as well, so it's going to be a huge miss for him. But they've also got replacements coming in who can do a job, such as Bertrand Traoré can play there, Memphis Depay, Moussa Dembele, who's also capable of scoring goals. So in terms of that attacking department, they've got a lot of quality. So for me, it's not that much of a worry. It's mainly their defence. I'm not sure who's going to play right back, either Raphael or Dubois. Other than that, the defence picks itself. So it's going to be interesting to see how they carry on with their style of play with both fullbacks attacking, or whether because of the threat of Lionel Messi, Ousmane Dembele, Malcolm potentially, are they going to continue to attack throughout the whole game, or are they going to sit back and play a whole different game of football?
So is there a realistic chance for Lyon to get through this time? Is there a realistic chance?
Yes, I think they proved it this season. They beating Man City, drawing them at home, and also beating PSG on home turf. So the game will be won, in my opinion, in the midfield, with Lyon's midfield of Ndombele and Usamawa, and also everyone knows how good Barcelona's midfield is. So I think if Lyon get the better of the midfield, I think that would be a solid foundation for them to go and win the game. Otherwise, it's going to be a lot harder to win the game if they don't win the midfield battle.
Of course, I agree. And Shouny, obviously, Barcelona are very dependent on Lionel Messi, because the other strikers, they haven't really performed in the Champions League this season, have they?
Well, I think Luis Suarez didn't do that well throughout the group stage. I mean, he didn't score any goals, but I think he's redeeming himself with La Liga. He's scored 15 goals now, so I am confident he'll probably, if Messi were not able to play, he'll probably be there for the team. And they're like a good team altogether. They are coherent, and I mean, Messi is a big part of it, but they are also a good team. And there was some thoughts of Messi not being able to play, but Barcelona has informed everyone that he'll be able to play. So.
And now, guys, as we did for Bayern Munich and Liverpool, I'm going to get your predictions for Barcelona and Lyon. Now, who's to progress, Richie?
I think Barcelona have extra motivation this year. These last couple of years they faltered in the Champions League, and I think Valverde and especially Messi, he spoke I think at the start of the season how he's really wanted to win the Champions League this season, and although they set up in a more pragmatic way, I think that could sort of hinder them as it did against Roma. But I think with the extra motivation of not winning the Champions League and seeing their arch rivals win 3 consecutive Champions Leagues, I think they'll progress and possibly make it to the latter stages depending on the tactics. I think if Lionel Messi is fired up for the Champions League as he has spoken about recently, I think they have a very, very good chance.
So do you think they'll cruise past Lyon in this time?
I don't think they'll cruise past, but I think they'll do just enough to get past.
Taz?
Lyon has the capacity to win the game at home, but winning at home and then going away to the new camp is going to be a different proposition. But I think Barcelona have a lot of quality everywhere in the team, so I think Barcelona will qualify.
Shouny, lastly?
I would have to say that I think it's going to be a really interesting match to watch, but I believe Barcelona will pass.
Cool. Okay, guys. Now the two games we're covering has been done. We're going to end the show there. So make sure you like, subscribe, and come back to the Football Hideout. Thank you.